What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. As always, please hit that subscribe button. It's right there. And as you guys know, it's free. That enables us to keep coming to you guys as often as possible with as many interviews as possible with as many great artists as possible. So please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share it, talk about us, be about us, each one, teach one for Unique Access. Thank you. Now, today we're in the honor and privilege of being joined by one of my friends who also happens to be a great rapper. Murs, thank you for coming through, sir.
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
Man, it's good to see you, man. I see the dreads are strong, so congratulations on that.
Yeah, man. It's a weave.
Yeah, yes, you got your Mackay Pfeiffer 8 Mile going on.
Yeah, right.
But Murs, of course, for those that follow him, and if you don't, you should know. But Murs is one of the more prolific artists in rap and has been really since he came on the scene, putting out a ton of material. And he has a new album, Love and Rockets 2, The Declaration, that just came out. And that's the topic at hand today. So, Murs, we did a digital book for Love and Rockets Volume 1, The Transformation, back in 2011.
Yes,
So, what made it a 10-year gap basically between Volume 1 and Volume 2?
man. I think to be frank, I think number one, it wasn't a resounding success. It's cool. And so I was like, you don't make a sequel to something that wasn't a blockbuster, just to keep it 100. So I was like, ah. And then one day they had that poll thing on IG stories, and I did a poll. I was like, does anybody want Love and Rock? Because someone DM me about when's Love and Rockets 2 coming. I was like, I think you're the only person that cares. But before I say that to you, let me ask. And it was a resounding amount of people like, man, we've been waiting. I was like, oh shit, okay. And so I thought I would make it, and I didn't plan on making it with Fresh, who produced this one. DJ.Fresh did the Tonight Show, and he does Tonight Show series. That anyone that's available, knows mostly about Bay Area hip hop, but from Jay Stalin to Freddie Gibbs to Raekwon, they've all done Tonight Show. So I was like, I just want to do a Tonight Show. He's DJ for the Living Legends for over a decade. And I was like, no one in the crew's done a Tonight Show with you. I got to do one. And plus, I love Bay Area music, so it's legendary for me to do one. And we started working on it, and I was like, oh, this is Love and Rockets 2. This isn't a Tonight Show. You can't have this one.
What were his thoughts on that?
He's fresh as for whatever, man. He's more prolific than me. He's like, cool, whatever. Yeah, let's just get it out. Let's go. And we'll do a Tonight Show later. So we probably still do a Tonight Show.
Okay. So with the declaration, like a lot of your stuff, it's very introspective, but some of the songs don't match what I'm about to say. But I think overall, there's a bit of a melancholy vibe to the album, in my opinion, a lot of it. So what is the declaration in your opinion, and why sonically and thematically did it have a bit more of a melancholy vibe?
Oh, I think that's genuinely who I am. The Declaration was supposed to be me, being who I am and declaring, like just finally, like this is who I am. I feel like I've been searching for a sound or for a voice, and that's why this started to feel like Love and Rockets 2. I've been in a group called Melancholy Gypsy since I was 14 years old. Just I'm always never been happy or sad. Our mutual I don't know if he's a colleague or a comrade or what, but Chang that did Rock the Bells. I know you've met him a couple times. Um, we would get to pay dues and it'd be sold out. Ticket sales are up. We're done. We broke even. We're not gonna, we're gonna make money. And like, Merce, are you happy? And I was like, I just don't do happy. I was like, I just nah. It's good. It's cool. You know what I mean? And it's kind of just been, I don't know if it's stoicism, melancholy, whatever. So that's when I'm being genuine, that's probably me at my most genuine, for better or worse.
Which is funny because when we talk or hang out or whatever, we always laugh a lot. So
Yeah.
that's I've obviously had very serious and deep family conversations with you just when we're talking as friends and stuff, but it's always funny because that part of you is one that I've seen, but I see the smiling, happy Murs way more because you're around your kids or we're,
Yeah.
at your mom's house and we're just hanging out or we're talking or, it's,
Yeah. You've always been on like the inner inside for the most part. There's no guard, and maybe that's it. So yeah, maybe the next album will be a little more happy.
Well, there you go.
Uh, but yeah, yeah, and I think it was all this was recorded on the road, and I'm not a huge fan of performing, and but it was also just me and Fresh relaxing, and we were joking around a little bit, but a lot of this was just written in the van or written in a hotel room somewhere by myself. So I'm not, or like I said, I'm not around my family. And I'm definitely a family guy. So I think that's what you get out of me. Um, but I also discovered on this album, like I think my pocket, and it also is dictated by Fresh's beats. He had just done the Tonight Show with Currency, and so I think he just had like leftover beats from that. And so when he gave me some beats, and I was like, "What is this? How am I supposed to rap to this?" And then I that was he gave it to me when we were driving to I forget the city. I believe it was um Flagstaff. And I got in the hotel and I was like, "What the fuck did you give me, Fresh?" I was like, "After sound check, I'm gonna listen to it." And then I heard he gave me by accident some of the Currency songs that weren't out yet. And I heard how Currency was rapping too, and I was like, "Oh, I could do this. This is what you want. Like this is how you're supposed." And I was like, "That'll be different for me. It'll be something new, something a little more modern, different than Ninth Wonder, Boom Bap, 80 something BPM, 90 BPMs." And so I think that added to it too.
Well, that's something that I think as your career has progressed has been a hallmark of yours that you've really been able to, whether it's D1, Ninth Wonder, Grouch, Felt, whatever you've been able to really excel, in my opinion, on a wide range of beats, which, as you and I have talked about, ironically, wasn't even your thing in the beginning. Like it was hard for you to rap on beat and all this stuff. So how do you think you've been able to grow and develop to where now you have this comfort that you show on Love and Rockets to the Declaration that you can excel on so many different styles, speeds, tempos, genres?
I think practice, and for this one, I noticed my DJ came to one time and we doing shows, and he's a fan of mine. My DJ my more recent tour is DJ Epps, and he's just like, man, like when you're on stage, it's a whole different thing. And then when the song, because I was playing them songs from my record, I forget which record where I was working on at the time, and it's just two different vibes. I was like, I gotta capture that energy, and I don't know how to do it. And I think for this one, a lot of it was me being drunk, not drunk, wasted drunk, but like having a beer to take the edge off because I'm always slightly ahead of the beat. Ninth tends to like push my vocals back in Pro Tools a little bit, um, because I'm a very anxious person. So having a beer after the show or like a shot of whiskey and then getting to record, I was able to like slow myself down and really be in the pocket. And this I think for the first time. And I think for Never was kind of like that, but that's also Ninth shifting me a lot into the pocket.
Okay. Well, let's go through a few of the songs and some of the lines that I really like on Love and Rockets to the Declaration. On the D.O.C., one of my favorite parts on there was how you compared yourself to Tarantino, which I thought was a weird but interesting juxtaposition. So, how and why did you think of yourself as the Tarantino for my people?
Um, just like a quirky and honest guy. Like all of the violence, especially in that song, I was saying more violent stuff. So I wanted to make sure to let people know I was being metaphoric. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Tarantino makes gory movies, but that's not the end purpose. It's not like watching 300. Um, it's to convey a message or a meaning or to move the story along. And then on later on in the album, there's the Diana Doom Wonder Woman song where it's very people like it's very violent. I'm like, yeah, that's what I mean. I like to have and my first song I ever made was called Red Dots, and it was about me killing 6 guys. So I'm like, this is always this. My core is like, and that was based on me watching Reservoir Dogs for the first time. And Pulp Fiction, I was obsessed with those films in the mid '90s when I wrote my first song, and so I've always felt like that's who I am. And Tarantino's not really part of Hollywood. He is, but he isn't. He's definitely an outcast. He makes his movies. He does his thing. You know what I mean? He's very eccentric. He's not. Even when they put him in a suit at the Oscars, he's still you can't dress up Quentin Tarantino. He wherever he goes, whenever he opens his mouth, that's him.
He's got his own thing, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I think also like for me, I think on this album I try to say things. What I liked about Tarantino, because I couldn't watch Reservoir Dogs the first time or the second time because the N word was so prevalent and it was with the ER. And then it hit me. I was like, he's the first white director and white writer that writes how white people really talk when black people aren't around. Like he's keeping it 100 and people are mad at him. I'm like, you're mad because you believe that they don't say this when you're not around. Not all white people, of course, but the people, the blue collar white people he's writing movies about, this is how they would talk.
I've heard it.
Yes, and I don't have the privilege of that. So I was like, he's actually giving us a bar. Like we're mad at him. Spike Lee's mad at him, but I'm like, nah, this is it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it happened to me one time in college. This dude who liked rap and everything got mad that this dude, he was like, he liked this girl on the volleyball team, and one of the basketball players swooped in and got her. And he was like telling me one day and like saying to him, I'm like, you know who? I guess you really don't know me, dog. Like, why would you think I would endorse this or think this is? So I really couldn't mess with that dude anymore. I was like, what is going on with this guy? And that was, to your point, I was my first exposure to it because growing up in Maryland, that never literally happened. I had to go to Cincinnati. And when it happened, it really just, my jaw dropped. I like froze. I was like, what?
People really say that?
Yeah, because like you met my dad. My dad's been to your mom's house. Like I didn't experience that as a kid at all. But when I went to college, it was a whole other world. And it blew me away, man. So yes, I've seen it and heard it. It's crazy.
So, and I think that's what on this album, like I want to say, I always try to give a more because I'm aware of the fact that the majority, whether you're me or Jeezy or Gucci, the majority, once you make a living at this, the majority of people who listen to your music are white. And I try to give that authentic experience, not the sensationalized experience. I try to give that. So that's another reason I said the Tarantino for my people.
Gotcha. And then we got a shout out Solo in the video. So
yeah,
that was great.
He set the set on fire, bro. I know him through rap, and even if he wasn't my neighbor, I wouldn't assume how he was the star. Because the AD was like, oh my God, that's Franklin. And I was like, you recognize him just from walking? And he wouldn't even talk to him. And then the whole crew was like, I didn't take a picture with anyone on the crew for the video of the D.O.C. Everyone wanted a picture with Solo. And it was like, and he's a real superstar. Like he has his glossies in the car. He's like, you guys want some gloss? And these people were like, I could have not paid them for the day because they got to meet Franklin. And they're like, and he was so kind and generous. So yeah, man, it was epic to have him as a cameo. I'm grateful.
Yeah, Solo's the man. So with moving on with Goats, one of the things that I thought was interesting was the title of the song and then shouting out Public Enemy and different groups and people and stuff. But then you also were dissing Hulk Hogan and all these other people that we now know their true colors per se. So on a song called Goats, why was it important for you to also highlight the bad side or people that,
Well, I think I didn't, it wasn't a conscious decision. It was just the hook came later. It wasn't called Goats from the beginning. I do think those are the goats of that side of America, of that brand of white America. You know what I mean? And Donald Trump's the only one you hear something bad about, but we have to keep in mind that Donald Trump was a goat of mediocre white men for decades before this. If it wasn't for his presidency, Donald Trump would still be one of the greatest white men of all time to most white males. Vince McMahon, Middle America, South America, not South, but yeah, South America, Southern North America, the Southern states, like he's a god. You know what I mean? Same thing with Hulk Hogan. He was a god to me from being a kid. And then Joe Rogan is the new like Bropra, like the god. You know what I mean? But I can tell, like you said, once I started to meet those kind of guys you met in college, I could tell he's one of them just from listening to him. Like, bro, if I leave this room right now, like, fuck out of here, bro. you're not with us. Like you know what I mean? And when I say us, black people, or just the people trying to move this country forward in a harmonious direction, you're about your bottom line and being a know-it-all. And if you're a white man that didn't have a similar experience to you have a lot to learn. You know what I mean? And when you're a know-it-all, that means you're not busy knowing shit. Shut the fuck up, bro. I made a friend named Shane Powers, who was I didn't know he was a reality TV star, but he had a podcast for a while. I think he still does. And he was like, he's from Omaha, Nebraska. He's like, I'm a 50 plus old white man. It's time for me to shut the fuck up and die and just listen to women and young people of color tell us what the fuck to do to fix the fucking world. And I was like, and if that's not your attitude or something like it, like, you can't,
Well,
yeah, go
the
ahead.
the interesting thing about that, which happened unintentionally, but then I was really drawn to it, is I had the benefit of my parents, who I think are great people. I had the benefit of growing up in Maryland, which is at least where I grew up, super diverse, racially, ethnically, financially, all kinds of stuff. But then on top of that, I also had rap. So I was learning all these things, and some of these messages obviously were opposed, but I had the benefit of my parents encouraging me and letting me listen to rap, whether it was Public Enemy. My dad took me to a Public Enemy concert, and he knew what they talked about. Like, he was like, "You should learn." Like, he told me, "Autobiography of Malcolm X is the best autobiography ever written." He told me that as a little kid. So I had a very different.
Yeah, it's not the typical white, like I think like you should have a podcast that has millions of impressionable young white men, black men, you know what I mean? Because not only white men who listen to Joe Rogan, you know what I mean? Oprah is a black woman that had the control of America, and I think that Joe Rogan has a similar thing. And sometimes, I listen to it. I've tried to listen to it a couple times. I don't think he's doing the best things. You know what I mean? And then when all the racist shit surface, I'm like, bro, you don't get a pass for that when you're 30 something years old. If it's something you tweeted when you were 16, yeah, bro, or when you were still living in a closed off space, you know what I mean? But after you've worked on MTV and you've been in mainstream America, that's how you want to talk.
Right.
I'll beat your ass, bro. And people always say he'll knock you out. I was like, not if I hit him first. But you know what I mean? I'm not gonna announce it, but I'm at an age too. I don't want to fight. I don't have to fight you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't have to yell like you're wrong. But I think it's something that's not heard. You know what I mean? Fuck Donald Trump is definitely the you know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard a song about that.
Yeah, like it's flowing like a river. But fuck everyone that's standing for this bullshit system the way it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck you if you wanna move around to get a tax break. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't agree with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's so much shit that I've heard him be a hypocrite. And I'm a hypocrite too, you know what I mean? But I just, I don't want to do the whole thing about Joe Rogan. God bless him. You know what? Shane Powers also gave me some perspective on Joe Rogan, and after I said that on the song, I understand him now, and probably wouldn't have been as harsh. Um, but I am definitely opposed to his movement. But at the same time, like no one's all bad. Like he has some great guests, and when he shuts the fuck up and lets them talk, it's amazing. And the fact that he knows those people, he's hit me to people I had never heard of. So nothing's all bad. Donald Trump, I don't know, he did something good. I forget.
Yeah.
I guess technically, I saw something on YouTube. Hawaii is technically where the military is illegally basically occupying Hawaii. It's not a real state. So under those terms, Barack wasn't born in America technically. So I guess he was right about that. And I don't know what else I could give Trump right now. I'm sure there's some other things. You know what I mean?
I'll look into that. I've never heard that, and it sounds ridiculous, but okay. I'll look into it.